I'm Tony from Twit, and today I'm reviewing the Fujifilm HS 25 EXR. As you can see here, we got a digital SLR looking camera with all the buttons that you would expect, and it's got this pretty large lens with 30x zoom. It's manual, so you gotta twist it yourself, extend the lens yourself, but you can go all the way up to 720 millimeter, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. And it's from 24 to 720, and the aperture is the widest aperture is 2.8, so it's not the fastest camera out there. You also get a pop-up flash, and so the best feature they have on this camera, personally, I think, is the swivel screen. This is very useful. This is very useful when you're outdoor and you're getting a lot of glare on your camera and on your display, so you can tilt it. Got a very wide range of motion here. And there's also a sensor in here that switches the display to the eye viewfinder, the EV finder. I don't know how many megapixel this camera is, because in the setting I'm shooting right now, it says auto. So I could set manually the megapixel count from 8 megapixel and down, but above 8 megapixel, it's in auto mode, so I don't really know. There's a few issues with this camera. First, it's still using AA's. It takes 4 AA's, and it's included in the camera, so when you buy it, you can use it out of the box. My first digital camera, see, this is not very well made. My first camera was a Fujifilm S5000. I paid probably $450 for it, and it was 3.1 megapixel. And that was better made than this camera, which is literally 9 years later. So that's one of the issues with this camera, and the price has gone down. This is $349.99. Pros and cons of this camera: the swivel display is very sturdy and very well made, bright enough that you can see the display in bright sunlight. Another pro of the camera is that it actually does video very well in HD, and you can actually do a lot of creative shots with such a large zoom range. The layout of all the buttons are actually very ergonomic. The only button I have issue pressing is the EVF lock button over here. It's a little reach around the display, which is protruding. Con of the camera, the zoom, you're actually turning the barrel the wrong way. If you compare this to a digital SLR, you actually turn clockwise to zoom out, and this is actually backwards. The overall quality of the camera doesn't feel very good. It's got a rubberized grip, and it just feels very cheap, and so the build quality is an issue. The autofocus is not the most reliable. There's some issues with exposure. So another con of the EVF, which is overly sensitive. So if I'm trying to shoot something and I'm zoomed in and I'm holding it close to my body to keep it stable, it turns off the display, so I can't see what I'm shooting. And the EVF lock only locks it to the EVF, and it doesn't come back. So the moment I unlock it, I have the same sensor issue where this display just goes out. Buy, try, or don't buy. I would have to say don't buy. This camera is not aimed at professionals. It's for amateurs and beginner photographers, but the automated feature on this camera, the EXR, is just not working like it's supposed to, and it's not really helpful. I'm Tony for Twit, and this is the Fujifilm HS 25 EXR.